Hey guys, how's it going? Alright, as you can see, this is part 2 of Joe Weider's Ultimate Bodybuilding. I meant to have this video up at least 2 weeks ago, but my next door neighbor was having work done on his condo unit, and it was just entirely too loud. I would not have been able to record any audio whatsoever. You just would have heard a bunch of banging and crashing and drilling. So I just put it off until they were done. All right. So anyway, part 2, we have I believe that's Gary Stridham doing waist work, some old school waist work here, and functionally, some of this I would regard as spinal rotation and lateral flexion of the spine. You know, that's really what it is. But you know, they're trying to fine tune the midsection for a contest. I wanted to speak on something. Recently, I saw another video. It was on Facebook, and it was some, you know, so-called fitness influencer. And man, do I hate that title, fitness influencer. You know, I would scream if somebody called me a fitness influencer, you know, because fitness influencers, from what I see, fitness influencers are usually people that don't know what they're talking about, and they aren't legitimately professional. This is a great picture of Rich Gaspari here. They're, you know, uncertified, unlicensed people who go to the gym and give you their 2 cents. And I mean, some of it is okay, but you know, a lot of it is really bogus, you know. And this is what happens when you go to people who are unlicensed in regards to the health field. This is the health field, like I've said before, you know, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go to advice regarding your human body to people who aren't legitimate. But anyway, this guy or this group or whatever it is, they made a video stating that people don't realize. Oh, by the way, this is a great picture of Arnold here. The video was about people not realizing the benefits, the aesthetic benefits of doing push-ups every day. It literally said people don't realize what it does for your physique when you do push-ups every day. And I actually commented on it. I usually don't say anything, you know, but I actually commented on it. And I said something to the effect of, you know, no legitimate professional would advise someone to do push-ups every day. You know, because honestly, the ligaments and tendons that surround the humeral head are going to get horribly inflamed or worse. Okay, you know, the humeral head goes into the glenoid cavity, which is, you know, the socket that the shoulder fits into. You know, the shoulder socket, the glenoid cavity. And, you know, the ligaments and tendons that surround that and pull the humeral head and keep the humeral head into that glenoid cavity are going to get inflamed. Or it may be the anterior delts, you know, that they become chronically inflamed. Or it may even be the pecs that become chronically inflamed. But it's a really stupid idea to train any skeletal muscle every day. Really bad idea. I do know that some bodybuilders will train their abs every day right before a contest, you know, but even that's just right before a contest. They aren't going to train their abs every day just in general. I mean, it's still a skeletal muscle and it needs to recover. And as far as the chest, the reason that they think that it improves their physique is because they're walking around pumped up all the time. You know, a bodybuilder, when they're in a contest, you know, they'll do a bunch of push-ups or maybe even some like flat bench presses or whatever, you know, before they go out on stage for the pump. Everybody knows about the pump up process. I think this is Mike Quinn. I think everybody knows about the pump up process. And when you do push-ups every day, you're going to be fooled into thinking that it improves your physique because you're pumping up every day. You're drawing blood into your pecs every day. You know, but it's not really improving your physique long term. You know, eventually that blood is going to dissipate. You know, it's going to have to dissipate because at some point you're going to have to stop due to chronic inflammation. You know, and if you're going to train your pecs every day, why stop there? Why not just do a whole freaking full body workout every day? Every day, man, just train every muscle in your body every day. Why not? If you're stupid enough to train your pecs every day or to do push-ups every day, why not do everything? It's really stupid, just misinformation from a fitness influencer. Give me a fucking break, man. Actually, when I was at my first job at Tennis Sport and Health, for those of you who watch this channel on a regular basis, you know that was my first job back in the night, like 1996, starting in 1996, late 1996. And there was a guy there, this older guy. Well, he's probably about the age that I am now, but back then he seemed older. You know, I was about 26. He was in his early 50s. And I remember this guy had these terrible hair plugs. You know, this badass hair plugs, man. And like every hair follicle was like a centimeter apart. And the fake hairs that were coming out of it, you know, looked like wires. It looked like wires, man. It just looked terrible. But anyway, I noticed one day that he was doing the flat bench press on multiple days in a row. Looked like he was doing it every day. And so me being a trainer that worked there, I went to him and I politely said, you know, it looks to me like you train your chest every day. You know, that's a bad idea. You want to give your pectoral muscles and your anterior delts and so forth time to recover. And he said, well, you know, I understand that, but when I don't do the bench press, I get depressed. And I said, oh, okay. And then I just backed off. Well, you know, we've all heard of people using exercise as a means of diminishing depression. And it does work, you know, because exercise raises serotonin levels and dopamine and so forth. And okay, he gets depressed when he doesn't do the bench press every day, but he's really going to be depressed when he's in chronic pain and he can't do it at all, you know. And of course, this is like just about 30 years ago, you know, so who knows what happened to him, or if the guy's even still alive, because if he is still alive, he'd be in his 80s now. But bad idea. And he kept doing the flat bench press every day, you know. So what are you going to do? So anyway, so look at this. Beginning routine. Barbell rows, front lat pull downs, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Low intermediate routine. Barbell shrug, seated pulley rows, pull downs, behind back. Well, behind neck, rather, not behind back. You know, this pull down behind the neck, that's really kind of an outdated exercise. I stopped having clients do that a long time ago because your humerus bone is naturally angled about 15 degrees forward. So all that behind the neck stuff, behind the neck presses, behind the neck pull downs, you know, you're doing a disservice to your own anatomy because you aren't designed to pull the humerus bone back that far. So You know, and this is how you end up with shoulder issues, or one of the ways in which you end up with shoulder issues, you know. And another name for this issue, or at least, or the proper name rather, is a shoulder impingement. You know, when a tendon rubs up against some aspect of the shoulder blade, it's not a good thing. And there's just a host of issues that can occur when you do behind the neck stuff. So that's pretty much been phased out, you know. But hey, you know, do it at your own risk. But you know, if you want to strength train for years and years to come, I don't suggest any behind the neck stuff. I love this exercise here. This is one that you don't see people doing, but this is the kneeling barbell curl. It's really cool because, you know, you can't cheat. Barbell slide curls. This is another one. This is another oldie but goodie that's been forgotten. Love both of those, man. That is good stuff. The spider curl. Yep. Look at this. Barbell concentration curls. This is, yep, old school stuff. Lee Haney and the Black Prince, Robbie Robinson. It's funny to see them together. I mean, I know that they weren't like necessarily like literally together while shooting this, but I'm just saying, seeing them together in this little sequence of shots doing biceps is interesting, because Lee Haney always said that he would have loved to have had bicep peaks like Robbie Robinson. You know, look at those peaks, man. Very high biceps. Probably some of the highest ever. But it wasn't in the cards for Lee Haney. You know how that goes. Hammer curls. Yeah. Good stuff. So this is obviously the arm section, bicep blasting, as you can see up here. I mean, but this is a good book, man. I mean, yeah, it's from the 80s. You know, some of the information is outdated, but, you know, not much of it is. Most of it is still very viable. You have lying dumbbell curls. Yep. I remember those. I've tried all of this stuff. Yeah. I mean, just like with most guys, I was obsessed with bicep training. You know. Yep. Good old Mike Christian. Reverse grip lat machine pull down. Yep. Yep. Good old Tom Platz. Mr. Universe Tom Platz gives it to his biceps with a set of narrow grip barbell curls designed to bring out the outer head of the muscle group. As is highly evident in this action photo, you can almost see the brain waves emanating toward his bicep. Yeah. Yeah, man. Tom Platz, interesting physique. You know, his upper body just never seemed to equal his lower body. With all due respect, I mean, it looked odd seeing him pose, because his lower body just dwarfed his upper body. Lower body dwarfed his upper body. Mike Minzer. Yeah. Multi-talented Mike Menzer shows what a bodybuilder's arm can look like even when held straight out to the side and tensed. Look at the fantastic tie-ins between the forearm and the upper arm muscles. Yep. Chapter 19, Building Huge Diamond-Shaped Calves. I think this is Chris Dickerson in the picture. Oh no, the calves of Tom Platt's IFBB Mr. Universe, who has also placed in the top 3 at Mr. Olympia 1981. Tom is currently pursuing an acting career. I don't think that worked out too well because I never saw him in anything off the top of my head. All right. And you have, looks like good old Boyer Co. here. A unique side calf display from Boyer Co., one of the all-time greats. Boyer started training at age 15 and was teenage Mr. America by 18 years of age. Yeah. I wonder if that, teenage Mr. America. Yeah, I'm not actually familiar with that. I may have to look that up. I mean, was it a show literally called Teenage Mr. America? And if so, was it drug tested? Because that would have been weird to have a bunch of minors on steroids, man. Look at this guy's gut. Is this the same guy? Man. Andreas Kalling. Yeah, Mr. International, model for most of the exercises in this chapter. Man, I'm actually not familiar with him. Just, but that gut is not a good look. Was this like a bubble gut in the 80s? Or just an out of shape bodybuilder? What is this? Is this? All right. Frank Zane, okay. Yeah. I think that's Lee Haney. Yeah. Yeah, that is Lee Haney. Yeah. Frank Zane was my favorite bodybuilder for the longest time. Just like, because for a while I kind of fantasized about being a bodybuilder. And this is a long time ago, and I didn't know about the drugs and all of that, so, but Frank Zane's physique looked like a sensible goal, for me, somebody who was training naturally, and like in the mid to late 90s, I was just starting to figure out that these guys were using drugs. I've said before that we were just more innocent, back then. But now, like a little freaking kid can look at a picture of a bodybuilder and they'll immediately think, oh, this guy's juicing, everybody knows about steroids. When we were kids, I didn't know about it. I didn't know Arnold was using steroids until I was like in my early 20s or so. We just didn't know. We were innocent. Chapter 20, Championship Chest Development. Wow. All right. What I think I'm going to do? I think I'm just going to stop here. All right, because, there may be enough room in this to squeeze like another video out, rather than just making this way too long, so anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this. And remember, be careful about these so-called fitness influencers and all the goofy misinformation. Do not do push-ups every day. It's stupid. Bad idea. Give your skeletal muscles a chance to recover. A bare minimum of 48 hours. 48 hours, bare minimum. All right, so I hope you guys got something out of this. All right, please like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And I will be back with more content on the fitness industry, personal training, and strength training in general. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.